Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 813 Village Place here in Dayton, located at the front of the house here. And for some reason my foot counter's not on the screen here. Well, we'll monkey with that if necessary. There we go. System's booting up slow. Anyhow, checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We've got a sewer cleanout access here, 3-inch ABS. Comes out the front of the home, very near the front left corner of the house. Off to my right is the front door, and I'm describing this as if you're standing out in the parking lot area facing the home. So, anyhow, we're going to introduce water to the line here in just a moment. We're coming in here day after the home inspection. This is actively lived in home. Lots of water goes down this thing. You'll also notice there is a cleanout access just behind this one with a friction style cap on it, not a thread-on one. That one, I opened it up already. It's a two-way cleanout, similar to your sewer line, but that one's going to be servicing your storm system and the low point drain coming out of the crawl space. Now making a transition here over to 4-inch 3034, and this is a nice short little sewer line. Man, if they are only all like this. As a comparison, the house I just came from, I cambered 265 feet, which is quite a large sewer line, but your average line out there is still about 50 feet. That's a relatively average, somewhat short sewer line. This thing is tiny. And the shorter the better. This is one of the rare homes out there where when you flush your toilet, everything is going to probably go from point A to B in one toilet flush. That's very rare. Most lines don't function that way. All right, and thus far, fabulous looking sewer line. It is superbly clean. The homeowners have done a great job at not dumping all their bacon grease down the sink. Looks very good so far. So I'm just going to do a quick locate just to verify. It looks like the line terminates, I believe, right around where the little white fence is at the front of the yard here. We'll verify that and then pull back in. Alrighty, line terminates in the front yard area here, actually just before the fence. Another very unique, wonderful thing about this sewer line is that if you ever had to fix it for some reason, which I don't suspect will ever be necessary unless there's an earthquake or something ridiculous like that, short of just simply waiting eons for the line to wear out, but the whole thing is under just dirt. That's a very rare, unique thing for sewer lines. Most sewer lines at minimum go under a road, a driveway, something rather expensive to correct. Yeah, all the PVC pipe there looks great, drains off beautifully, transition joint looks great, and to boot, the line is spotless clean. And I really like to point that out. I've been doing this for 13 years now. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines, done a lot of drain cleaning, and grease buildup has become something I've become a lot more concerned about at this point in my career than a lot of structural issues like bellies, offset joints even. Structural issues. There's a lot of them that kind of sit on the fence as to their severity and really only cause problems under abusive scenarios. That's just the reality, especially in smooth plastic pipe. When your pipe walls get all gunked up with a bunch of grease buildup, it creates for just a sticky mess that slows debris down. And I just went way back into the house there. I normally don't go that far. I just realized that this looks like it's crawl space here. Originally thought it was slab where I go further, but that's stuff the home inspector looks at. Line looks fabulous end to end. But going back to the grease thing, I'd like to give everyone this little rundown. That little bit of kind of yellowish stuff you see on the pipe walls there is a very minor example of grease buildup. It builds up on you very easily if you're not careful with it. If you just dump your pans down the sink, it's very easy to develop a 1/4 inch plus thick layer of it. So when stuff does go through the sewer line, it moves slower, it's more prone to stopping, and when it does stop, it gets stuck to the grease. And when you do get blockages, for instance, toilet paper blockages, balled up toilet paper, most common type of blockage out there, a lot of them will break loose under head pressure because it's an item that, for the most part, is intended to go down your sewer line. When you ball it up, it has a harder time disintegrating, but when your pipe walls get all gunked up with grease, that acts like glue. And a balled up toilet paper blockage that might otherwise break loose after 5 feet or so of pipe fill up behind it can now, for instance, withstand 30 feet of pipe filling up behind it or more. So it's much more likely that your run-of-the-mill stuff can result in a full-on sewer event And it's especially unforgiving under abusive scenarios. Wipes, paper towels, flushable wipes, things like that. They get stuck in it. They block in it like crazy. And then when it does happen, none of that stuff disintegrates on its own naturally. So the other issue with grease in general is that even with toilet paper, when toilet paper gets stuck to it, it gets impregnated with grease. And that toilet paper becomes semi-waterproof at that point. So it does not disintegrate properly. So anyway, that's the PSA for the day on grease buildup. This is a very good example of how to treat your sewer line right here. To keep your line clean is kind of a general rule of thumb. If you have enough grease or oil on your pans, that if you were to turn that pan sideways when it was hot or warm anyway, if there's enough on the pan that it runs or flows off the pan, that's when you want to do something about it. Pour it into a jar or let it cool down, scrape it off into a garbage can, wipe it out with a paper towel. Thin little coating of PAM spray is no big deal. Hot water and soap handles that. And if you know some level of grease or oil is getting down the line, always use hot water and soap. Let the hot water run for about 30 seconds to a minute longer than your last dish. After you're done washing the dishes completely, let that hot water run for 30 seconds to a minute. That helps to ensure anything that did get down line remains melted and emulsified until it gets all the way to the main. Or at least a good distance away from the house there. When you shut the water off really quickly, that hot water cools off very rapidly when it hits the exterior of the home where the pipe's buried. So while it might keep your interior line clean, the outside is where it'll all start building up on you. So anyhow, there's your rundown on grease buildup. As the sewer line sits here, it functions beautifully. That's about as good as a sewer scope can possibly go right there. I could not nitpick the structure of the line if I tried to, and the line is spotless clean to boot. Very nice looking sewer.